Hello, and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin broke above that 43K level. I can't actually remember if that already happened in the last video, before the last video, I think after the last video. So I've done what I promised, which is I have taken the previous white wave count off the chart. I've replaced it with the orange one, which is now white. So essentially not much changes. The only thing that changes is that we're not watching for a wave 2 pullback anymore. But due to the break above $43,000, it has increased in likelihood that any pullback is going to be only shallow on our way to $125,000. Okay, well, shouldn't say that because there are two main scenarios that we're tracking now, and I explained that already yesterday. Tried to prepare you for everything, that there is of course the likelihood, and it did get more and more likely, that we break through that 43K level, and therefore we might only see shallow pullbacks going forward. Okay, but there are two wave counts. So one is basically here the one is the white one that can take us here higher, and that really isn't really any substantial change to what we discussed before. It is only the only difference to what we have before is that we probably don't see any deeper pullbacks in the white wave count. Okay, so we had here our 1-2-1-2 setup. You can even interpret that as 3-1-2 setups, which would be very bullish, but I don't like that idea because on some exchanges that third 1-2 setup is invalidated. And then basically we are now in a third wave rally. Then we should get a wave 4 and a 5 of a larger 3, another 4 and a 5. And it can take us to into the realm of $125,000. Now in this scenario, we basically could see this entire rally with only minor or shallow pullbacks. Now, the wave 4s will always be a bit boring. They will always be long, boring, and so on. They, of course, happen. And at no point we should break below the 50% fib level of that rally, right? At the moment, the support is at $34,000, which means the white wave count, is probably not going to work out if we see a break below $34,000. What would I consider then? Well, then I would consider the yellow wave count. The yellow wave count is that, let's say, more bearish alternative. It's not really necessarily bearish, but honestly, if we break below 34K, it opens a can of worms of different potentials and possibilities. It's an absolute mess, okay? I don't actually want to talk about all these possibilities until we really see that potential of a break below 34K, because there are just too many. Remember, this would be an ABC structure to the upside, and any pullback below 34K would mean that it is either just a larger corrective pullback and we move up then, or we're forming some kind of a weird triangle, or there are so many options. So let's hope that doesn't happen. We could even then drop to new bear market lows, okay? So below 34K, that potential is open. Let's not focus on that right now as long as we're holding above 34K. And very important, I'm not telling you we will go to 125K. We should, as long as we're holding 34K, because that's our key parameter. Below that level, trading directly on the long side will get more risky. So just be aware of that, but we will talk about that in more detail in the next few videos and so on, as the micro patterns evolve. Firstly, at the moment, the yellow count and the white count are mirror counts. They could send us directly in the next step to 50K. That's basically here the 100% Fibonacci extension level. And that is where we could see the next move get to. This third wave could be nearly done. So basically it should look like that, basically. That this C wave can end at 50K, can also stretch a little higher all the way up to 65K. Okay, so actually I should... I'll leave it like that. So the yellow count can stretch without a problem to 65K. Above 65K, the white wave count will gain in probability, because that's the 1.38 extension. That C wave of wave A should not really extend below that level. Now, it can, but again, then probabilities shift further towards the white count. At the moment, the white count would be my primary scenario. So that means more direct upside. Yeah, and support for that is 34K. While being mindful that, you know, if 34K break and we will have to adjust that support level with the price, then something completely different might be going on. Again, it will open can of worms of different possibilities. So let's go to the shorter time frame wave count. Here again, the yellow count and the white count are mirror counts at the moment. So the micro pattern is the same at the moment, which is always good. As you can see here, we've got 5 waves up, basically complete, similar to ETH. That doesn't mean a pullback has to start, but if one shows 34K is support, and then we should still get another move up to complete this C wave of wave A. I think those patterns will get a little bit more clear in the next few days. It's always when the movements are very, very rapid and aggressive that we have to let it settle a little bit, you know. Pullbacks are always something that gives us a little bit of orientation in the market. Okay, and again, as I highlighted in recent weeks, we focus on higher until we have a first break of micro support. And the first break of micro support is now 34K here. Well, can I give you an even more micro level support? I mean, it's difficult to go even more micro. I mean, when can we say that this fourth wave pullback has started? Well, difficult to say. I mean, it would have to be the last swing low, yeah, 41,250. That's really nano support, you could say. So below that level, I have to assume that this fourth wave has started, and then we could still get another fifth wave. And then this will be the major decision point, the next major decision point, because then we will get some clarity. Okay, is it the white wave count that can send us in a more direct fashion to actually 100, 125K? Now, again, that will not happen tomorrow, right? You know, it will still be lots of twists and turns along the way and so on, an emotional journey and so on. Or is it just the A wave, which will result in a much deeper pullback? But we will know that as soon as we break below micro support. Yeah, so there'll be clues along the way. Overall, I can summarize, you know, our pattern is unfolding nicely. The bullish scenario has been our primary scenario throughout 2023. Of course, not every single wave and twist and turn can be predicted. And it seems like, you know, Bitcoin wants to do that, however, with only shallow pullbacks. Now that leaves a lot of people on the sidelines, which again, as I always said, you know, if we are in a third wave rally, pullbacks might be shallow. You cannot predict extensions. They just sometimes happen. You have to manage that with sound strategy and tactics, which is why I have emphasized, as long as we were below 30K so often on public YouTube, as well as on Discord and Telegram, that the core position can win the game. Have a hodl portfolio, have a core position, basically a spot swing trading position that you might not touch until we get close to all-time high or even into all-time high territory. And then you can always trade around that, right? So that was, the opportunity was there in the bear market, and that's not just stupid waffling here. I mean, I've literally mentioned that week after week. We've had live streams about that, member live streams. It is difficult now to propose an entry point because we are likely in a third wave rally, okay? So again, it can only give you the next support level against which you can measure your risk, but that's it, okay? So can't really do any more. I've tried everything I could in the bear market, and now we'll enjoy the show and see what the next pivot point will tell us. Okay, that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. There's additional content there every single day. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.